Imagine a teenage girl sitting in her room with a cookie and a glass of milk, and she's crying into her milk while she's eating her cookie. And you're probably wondering why she's hiding eating her cookie and drinking her milk. But it's because she's been shamed in the lunchroom, in her home, by her friends, and just generally by society telling her that she should go on a diet from looking at magazine ads or things that are on TV. Since when does anyone have the right to determine when a girl can eat a cookie? Well, this has definitely been a problem for me, since you can tell I'm already a little bit passionate about this. And when I was a little girl, I was larger in size, and not only did my schoolmates make fun of me, but had trouble with my home life as well. So I did hide and eat cookies. So this means a lot to me, and now in this day and age with social media, I feel like we do have an epidemic among young women in particular. Not to downplay that men can also have a negative body image, but I do feel like this is a much bigger problem for young women. So even if you've never personally experienced being fat shamed or body shamed, I'm sure you probably know someone who has. And I feel like the problem is that society feels like women should fit into this thin mold, and what their version of thin and beautiful is, which is just not true. We're all beautiful in our own way. But when we move into this day and age, and our children and their children have access to social media 24/7, and it's just constantly being talked about and displayed for them, it becomes a real problem. The other part of the problem is that there can be generations of body shaming. I know that within my own family, my mom did the best she could, but she came from a life where she was also body shamed. So, the studies show that it can also be harmful if you have a daughter to say that, oh, you're so beautiful, but I'm so fat. That can be detrimental to your daughter. So we just really need to change the conversation here so that we can correct this problem and just break the cycle of body shaming with young women. An eating disorder treatment center in Chicago reported that between 30 and 50% of teens in their treatment program actually used social media to encourage their eating disorders, which of course can be a result of body shaming. And since social media has come around, I've kind of had to be careful myself because I'm not a big social media person, but as you know from my last speech, I'm a yoga teacher, and when I started following some of the yoga accounts, yoga girls like to show off. So even for a grown adult who's a little more at peace with her body now, I have to temper my own social media following, so I really feel like it's important for us to keep tabs on what our teenagers are looking at as well. According to a Mayo Clinic study, moms are the #1 influence on their daughter's body image, which I wasn't surprised to hear. Says Dr. Leslie Sim, even if a mom says to the daughter, you look beautiful, but I'm so fat, as I said, this can be detrimental. So she goes on to discuss further that moms and daughters shouldn't talk about going on a diet or losing weight or that sort of thing. As Tanner pointed out in his speech, if there is an obesity problem, there's educational programs that can be provided either by healthcare experts or, again, using social media for a good reason. So I have this visual aid here just to kind of give a few overviews, a few bullet points on facts about body image. And body image is how you see yourself when you look in the mirror or when you picture yourself even in your mind. So not just looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I don't like that, whatever that is. If you think it in your mind, you start to believe it as well. And it affects your memories as well. So how you feel about your body, including your height, shape, and weight, definitely also can affect how you move your body. And again, too, you can internalize messages starting at a very young age that can lead to either a positive or negative body image. So again, having a healthy body image, I believe, is part of overall general mental health and well-being. I would say about 5 years ago, when my oldest son was in high school, I learned about something called thigh gap from his girlfriend. And I had to have her explain it to me. But basically she said that, you're not thin enough if you don't have a gap between your thighs. That's not structurally possible for most women. And so 17 magazine actually had an article where a mom was talking with her daughter, and the daughter said that, well, the kids at school talk about thigh gap all the time. They say if you have a thigh gap, you can have extra ice cream. So this is also a conversation we need to change. Already had one teenager, and I have boys, but just being around teenage girls, I can't believe how much they obsess over how they look and wearing the right clothes. And in particular, this girl that I was just referring to, she always thought she needed to be on a diet. To me, if she lost any more weight, you could see her bones. So I just think that, we really need to keep that under control. And again, as I referred to here, just the conversation that goes on in your head. If you know a young lady and you just suspect that she may be having trouble with her body image, it's just important to let her talk and try to find out the root of why she may think she has a problem with her body. So another problem can be that saying that you will accept your body when you reach a certain weight, when you look a certain way, when you fit into a certain pair of jeans. That's all a bunch of crap. So now it's time to change the conversation around body image in our minds and with our voices. So some ways that we can create a body positivity towards young women is to ensure that we enforce social media literacy among our younger generations, and just basically making sure that they understand that what they see in social media is not fact or is not the way it has to be. And also, if they are going to be on social media, just making sure that our children and ourselves as well are looking at body positive accounts and not the fancy yoga girls that are showing off and wrapping their leg around their head in a two-piece bathing suit. I don't want to look at that. And then again too, again, very near and dear to my heart, as Tanner mentioned, letting my children serve themselves. I do, while I don't have girls, I do feel like I have two young men who know how to eat right, and we let them serve themselves. And so that's always been very important to me, so that they wouldn't have the issues that I had. So I say that in saying that changing the parental behavior and conversation and breaking the cycle around negative self-talk is very important for our generation to pass on to the next. And last but not least, making sure that we don't support the multi-billion-dollar diet culture. Never replacing healthy meals with things like, empty calorie protein bars. I mean, we all do it every now and then. Sometimes you just have to, but just trying to cook healthily for our children so that they know how to take care of themselves. So ultimately, just taking positive steps towards changing the conversation around body image, I think will help this greatly. And I just feel that the tendency for young women to body shame has to stop. And if we change the voice from body negative to body positive within our own minds, we can then share that with generations to come, whether it be our daughters or granddaughters. And that is my hope for future women, that they will grow up with a positive view of themselves.